Welcome to Stars Podcast, your growth mindset mecca, where we are relentlessly moving forward despite what stands in our way. I'm Ron Jordan, your local tour guide and host through the portal of Stars Podcast, the growth mindset mecca. Our guests arrive to us from all over the globe, ranging from jiu-jitsu black belts, children authors, NFT enthusiasts, crypto traders, lawyers, bodybuilders, coaches, endurance athletes, and CEOs. We all may have differences in our outward appearances. However, the more we talk about curiosity, self-leadership, and the desire for self-fulfillment, we quickly realize how similar we all are. Enjoy the journey. This episode is brought to you by Fuzzy Monkey Coffee Company. Fuzzy Monkey Coffee Company offers specialty roasted coffees, which are roasted by their own hands from sustainably sourced beans. Their coffee ranges from light roast, Squirrel Monkey, to dark roast like Lion Tamarian. I'm the biggest fan of the Squirrel Monkey as it is light roast with higher caffeine. The lighter the roast, the more the caffeine and the less I need to drink to get my juices flowing. Listeners of Stars Podcast get 15% off by using StarsPod15 at checkout. That's STARSPOD15 at checkout. And you can order that at fuzzymonkeycoffee.com. Again, that was StarsPOD15 at fuzzymonkeycoffee.com. Sip responsibly. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Ron Jordan over at Stars Podcast, your host, coming out of Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Today we have a special guest coming in from the NFT land. She is involved in a really unique project that I'm not really familiar with, but man, as soon as I look into it and look at the first issue of the NFT Kids Magazine, I am absolutely hooked. And welcome to the show, Clara. And she's hailing from Seoul, South Korea at this point. So It is late where she's at, and we appreciate your time here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah. So what is the NFT project? You just give me like an elevator pitch and let's dive in as to where it comes from, the idea itself.
All right. Well, NFT Kids Mag is the first ever NFT magazine for children in the metaverse and in the world, actually. So we're very, very proud to say that we worked really, really hard. So we spent 7 weeks to design the whole thing from scratch. And we managed to showcase 30 kids from all around the world. And these are young NFT creators from the age of 9 months old all the way to roughly 16 or so. And so we have the hottest selling NFT creators. And yeah, so we're really proud. We also have some featured interviews from, we have Q. He's one of the top-notch art collectors, NFT collectors at the moment. We have a very, how can I say? It's a hardcore, he goes into it and he really like shares his knowledge. You know, he goes right in there, shares his knowledge about how he collects his art, and he has a special way of doing that. So we share that in the magazine, and we have we've also featured Leo Gami, and he runs NFT_community, the biggest art curating platform on Instagram. I think they've just hit 37,000 followers. And yes, and he's the person that actually helped me and that introduced me to NFTs, because before that, you know, back in May, I had no idea what NFTs were. He called me up one day and explained to me what is happening in the digital art scene. I'm an author. I write children's stories. So at the time, I didn't understand. I had no clue. To me, it was just gibberish. He was talking so fast. He was so excited, right? So it completely went over my head. It took me a really long time. And every time he would call me and tell me, it took about 2 weeks or so for the penny to drop, for me to really understand what was happening in the metaverse and the changes that it's like the ripple effect that is having and will have long term. So as soon as I understood, because back then, so at the start of the year, I was just focused on pushing my children's stories. I had started a platform called Wonder Wheel Hotels, and I had already done a few things just to prepare the ground for the short stories I was going to release. So when Liv Gami told me about NFTs, and when I saw his followers started following me and liking my post, that's when I understood. And I thought, hold on a minute, anyone can jump on the scene. You can use NFTs in any way, shape, or form. So I started having ideas of how I could use it also for my stories. And around the time my son photography was taken up, he's got like a large following on Google Maps. His photography is doing quite well. And he was also asking me what could he do. So I connected all the dots also with my long-term background. I was a teen co-editor of a youth publication back in London. So everything came together. It was like a complete 360. Ideas, light bulb moments, staying up late at night, thinking of different things. It was just, wow, it just all came as to one. And on the 22nd of May, I jumped on Instagram again, but this time I registered NFT Kids Mag. I had no idea what I was going to do, how it was going to pan out, but I thought, okay, let me just push the name, put it out there and see what happens. And it's just, wow, it's just been magical. Finding all the amazing young NFT creators, NFT artists, it's been phenomenal, seeing the level of art, hearing their stories, communicating and speaking with the parents. It's just, it's a real blessing. It's every day is fun. Every day there's something new going on. There's a new kid drop. There's always something happening, and it's really, really wonderful.
And what's nice too is with the introduction of NFTs, and we don't have to travel everywhere to go see one another's art exhibits. That's what makes me the most excited about this space, is just like you said, the metaverse side of it. All of these kids are growing up in that world, and we could learn a lot from that, first off. And then secondly, they're able to navigate and use their skills in ways that we just wouldn't even think of. So you're getting such a cool perspective of the world through their lens and through their art. And that's just right. Looking through it and hearing those stories, I could only imagine, even just being so young, where art is coming from. Just geographically, where has art come to you where you were like, oh my goodness, I can't even believe I'm getting contacted by somebody from this place? Like, I know it's probably hard to pick one, but could you?
I think what's been amazing is getting to know the young artists like Sevi. He's 9 years old. I call him Baby Banksy because literally the levels that he's showing, he could easily be compared to Banksy. And he's from the Philippines. That's been awesome. I think last week I had a mother from Thailand, and she's got twins. They're doing some awesome stuff. She's got 8-year-old twins. So I can't wait to really get to know them a bit more and really push what they're doing. And so we've got 16-year-old Bruno from Germany. We've got Nyla, of course. We have the hottest selling. She's a viral sensation, Nyla. She's one of our first articles in the magazine as well. She's from the States. And so far, then we also have Scotland. We have a little boy from Scotland. From the UK, we have a bit of everywhere.
A bit of good flavor from all over the place. Can we go back just a hair, and then the parent side? I wanted to dig in a little bit on that. How appreciative or how skeptical are parents? What are you getting the feel from the parents?
The parents are full of energy. They're very optimistic, and we're all doing this more or less for the same reasons. First of all, we're doing this for fun, because the kids are so passionate. So it's effortless, right? And we're also doing this because we want to create a future for our kids, and we want to create a lasting legacy. And we know that our children deserve a voice, and their art should be taken seriously just as any big artist out there, right? We've seen, CryptoPunk and some artists that are doing extremely well. And the levels are not extraordinary, but then the story, the branding, and the community that they're able to create, that's what's been able to sell. Our children's art can do the same and even more. And that's what we are able to prove within the NFT kids community through the magazine and even Kids on a Blockchain. That's Nyla's Discord. And she's got a growing community there supporting children artists. So it's very, very strong knit of parents that want all the kids to do really, really well. And that in itself, it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. So it's different from like Facebook or, it's completely different. What's happening right now with children's art within the NFT community, the parents, the kids, the love, the joy, the fun, every day. Yeah, it's really extraordinary. It's real fun.
Now, are you doing a art gallery in the meta, or are you just doing the magazine itself? Where are we at right now with the project as far as looking at the art that is being discovered and being shared in those stories? Where is that?
Okay, well, it's funny that you've said that because on the 12th of September, we are creating our first exhibition, our first NFT art exhibition.
How exciting.
Yes, so, and it's part of ARS Electronica, and it's happening in New York. Yeah, so we're really, really excited. We've teamed up with Vizmesh. He's the one that asked us to do this. And it's funny because before launching the magazine, that's part of my wish list, to be able to curate kids art. So that's happening. So that's us doing it obviously for someone else. And the time will come, over a period of time, we will create our own maybe 3D gallery and also live gallery. But at the moment, we're just happy creating for other people's events for now, and the time for sure. There's so much in the pipeline. We're just taking one step at a time because we've been bombarded with information, bombarded with contacts. A lot of people have reached out that want to help and contribute. We signed our first young writer for the next issue coming out. Yes, so it's going to grow in so many different ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This makes me so happy. I smile ear to ear with it because I remember growing up, and this isn't exactly like that, but just Kids Scholastic. I remember getting that in school.
Oh, yes.
And then also like watching Channel 1 News and just all of these things that were by kids. I grew
up in that.
Yeah, they're so quickly discounted in their perspective because they're just kids a lot of the times. And I just remember watching those shows and reading those magazines and just really connecting in that way. And how awesome for you too, because coming from an author of children's books,
That's right.
I mean, endless ideas, endless perspectives and lenses that you can, because you're obviously able to see from like a macro perspective, a collective, and then being able to put that into a deliverable, which would be like a book or a magazine, has to be so rewarding for you.
Extremely. Like I said, 20 years ago, I was a teen co-editor. So being able to relive this experience, because even after I left that project and I went on to do a bit of acting and different things, worked for different projects, my heart always had a place for one day being able to do my own magazine. I didn't know how, I didn't know when. Every time I sort of explored the idea, I always felt like I wasn't ready, it wasn't the right time, I didn't have the right resources. But this time, Jordan, I don't know how, all the pieces that connected at the right time, it just blew my mind. And it's lucky for me because even working as a teacher right now, my current job, my manager and director, they've asked me to do so much graphic design. They've asked me to work on a lot of creative projects alongside my teaching with my students, and that also gave me the confidence. I thought to myself, hold on a minute, I can do graphic design. I got an A back in school. All these things started to come back to me, and it was like, oh wow, I can do this. The hardest part was obviously the front cover and the first article. Once I got that going, it just flew. Yeah, I designed Nyla's article and I felt so good. I felt like, wow, yes, this is doable. And pieces
And the
after
cool
the
part about that too is you're able to practice sort of at work on,
I'm,
what your
I'm
alter is.
surrounded. My everyday at
Yeah.
home because I have a son, at work on a daily basis. I'm widening children's imagination. I'm having fun with them, and I feed off of their vibe. And so being around that every day, I think that's what also sparks my creative tap, and I'm able to put that in the magazine. And and just showcase, like wave the flag for children and show the world and the metaverse that there is some fantastic talent that were born to do this. Literally, it's just
Literally.
like, yeah, for a lot of them. And the levels of art is really, really phenomenal. That's why I've been saying to parents and to anyone that have children in their entourage, you know, if they are interested in art, they don't have to be extraordinary they don't have to be like genius artists, but if they're passionate, you know, bring them our way. There's the stuff that we can do with them. And even as writers, as we're looking for writers, like I said, we just signed one. So the magazine in itself, it can do a lot for children on different levels. So that's why we're super excited about it.
And so is the goal of the magazine to be totally done by the kids at some point, or is it now?
Well, there's sections. For this publication, it will be a mixture. So we're also saying because even for this issue, we've had some parents contribute and help too. So eventually, it's a possibility that we may have like a supplement only done by children. Once we grow more, we have a larger following, and we have stronger legs to make that happen for sure. Because the publication that I used to edit back in the days, it was purely run by teenagers. So that would be the goal, to eventually grow into a space where we can just let it run by children, and us parents will just be on the side, making sure that, you know, it's done professionally and the output is to a very, very high standards. For me, design means everything. I'm not an illustrator, but I'm extremely I've got a keen eye, and I'm really, really passionate about graphic design. I designed the whole thing from start to finish, 74 pages. It was like,
Oh my goodness, you did that whole deal.
I designed the whole magazine from the front cover to the back
It's
cover.
beautiful. From just
Everything.
the few pages I flipped through so far, and I'm going to dive in for sure more, but it is stunning.
Thank you.
It is stunning. Yeah.
Yeah. I like things done a particular way. Every dot, every line, every color, because on each page, the kids are in the middle, and for most and majority of the time, everything around it I designed. So I wanted to give the child art an extra boost, and I really wanted to give it justice. I wanted to carry on their story. So yeah, that's why everything is so vibrant. It's showing what's really happening in the mind of children right now in the metaverse. It's just a constant party. Yeah, constant.
It really is. Yeah. And well, that's another thing too, is like the mental health aspect of it all in being an artist. What are you tackling in the magazine to talk about mental health awareness and sort of the mindset of that?
Yes, we have a wonderful feature with VJ Newit. And she's released a series of NFTs called Emotional Monsters. And she tackles the reason why I interviewed her. Obviously, her monsters are very adorable, but she tackles mental health. She's very passionate about that. So for me, having that in the first issue was very, very important, because being a writer, you know, being some form of an artist, I know how emotionally draining it can be when, let's say, for instance, you put your art out there and you don't get the response that you hoped, or, you know, you're not able to bring in money, because a lot of artists, they want to be able to work full time, but they can't. So you have to juggle, and that's what I've been doing all my life. I've had meantime jobs whilst I'm trying to figure out how I can really push my stories, my art out there, my creativity. And I've struggled my whole life, you know. Sometimes you don't feel, sometimes you feel like you're not good enough. Sometimes you feel like you could do more, and you're giving your everything, but then it just seems like you have to understand that everything is about timing. So you have to let things take its course. And that's one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn. But I was able to make peace for myself. There was a time where for 5 years, I had stopped writing. I had stopped everything. Yes, when I lived back in London. And 2 years ago, with my family, we went to Madagascar. That's where I'm from originally. I was born in France. I grew up in London. I originate from Madagascar. So we went to spend my son's 10th birthday. And again, my brother was like, okay, you need to start writing again. And I felt like, okay, let's see. And the funny thing was, when we had to transit at Nairobi airport, and I bought The Alchemist. And it's a book I've always wanted to read, because all the celebrities, I've always been talking about it. So I bought it, read it whilst I was in Madagascar. And after, when I finished it, I said to my brother, I can write this. I can write something better than this, but for children. And he said, then go on. What have you been waiting for? You stopped writing. This is your moment. So I went home and I did it. And so I wrote my first novel 2 years ago, which I'll be releasing soon. And then
Congratulations.
Thank you. Everything piled on the back of that. So now I'm ready. And now the metaverse with the NFTs, it's like, wow, bringing all of that together is phenomenal.
You just had to take those 5 years to get some experience. You just, you hear about that a lot, is you almost take like this artistic break, because it is so taxing to be that way. It's because you're like, I don't know about you, but just myself, you're critically thinking a lot. Yes. and breaking things down into processes, and it's just exhausting. So sometimes taking a break from analyzing is really fun, but it's at the same time, you look around and you say, man, I could be doing more, but I'm just not ready to yet. And the patience that you have to have during that time to know that that's not going to be you forever is hard.
It's really hard. You know what? My first novel is called The Waiting Club.
Oh,
that's exactly what I talk about in my story. And so for me, I had to make peace with myself, and I had to say, if I don't make it, can I still be happy? I mean, from when I've shared my art, I've shared my stories, I've put myself out there, but then if I don't get the traction that I'm dreaming of, can I still be happy? Because it's not fair to my creation. I've put it out there, and I've done my job. Can I still be content with myself and accept that maybe it's not this, I don't know, maybe it's not this generation, maybe it will be my children's children that would one day open my story and publish it for me. And so many things went into my mind, and I really had to be happy with who I am in the moment. That I know I'm a creator, but one thing I've realized is when life whispers ideas to you, life doesn't tell you what time and when and if it's meant for everybody. So your role is just to bring it forward, release it to the world, and your job is done. And if it's meant to be, the time when the right time will come, so be it. But you ought to find a way to be happy, because the most beautiful form of art is through love, is through joy, and it's spreading, that passionate creativity that you have within you. From when you've done that, then that's okay. You've made someone smile, even if it's just one person that's looked at your art or read your book, and you may have changed their lives. That's it. You've done what you needed to do. You just need to continue, and then if it's meant for you, wow. And if it's meant for the next generation to take it to the next level, you have to find a way to be okay with that. Because so many people, I find, you see it happen. People make it, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, they're no longer relevant. And once they no longer eat, depression hits them really, really hard. So for me, it was important to deal with that. I needed to accept that one day it's no longer going to be about me or my ideas. I will pass on the baton to the next generation. So I had to work backwards emotionally for me. So now I'm doing this from a place of peace, and I'm accepting the process and the flow, whether it takes off or not. I'm just pushing. I'm putting my best foot forward for whoever is willing to accept. And it's about the children. It's inspiring children. So if I inspire one child, one parent, one family, my job is done. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, and the best part is just from hearing you say that, is you don't actually have to see it for you to be happy about it.
That's it.
And that's a thing that I think a lot of people get stuck on, is they want to see the reward
result right now.
Yeah, and it's
right
like
now.
if I always play this little game.
I was really obsessed with that before.
Same. And then just as you sort of went through this like, whoa, I can't believe I've been doing it that way for so long, and now coming at it from a place of peace. I like to play this game with myself, is, even if I put out every single thing and I have 0 followers at the end and I have $0 in my bank account, but 30 years down the road, it ends up helping somebody in a really, really dark time, and they end up becoming the next person that, cures cancer or something like that. You may never see that, but just knowing that you're putting a message out there that you believe could aid in making that happen is enough.
That's it. Your dream is a piece of a puzzle amongst many. You've placed your piece. Everyone else also has to pitch in. Then move on to the next piece and to the next piece. And then, if it's meant for you to become this major so-and-so, then that's a bonus. But I don't think as creators, that should be the sole focus. It should be inspiring lives, inspiring the next generation, making someone smile, like I said before. And that should be really important.
Making a lot more happiness in the world is always going to be beneficial. And just the energy that you're going to bring to the table. And even if you're sitting around the table with 12 other people, and then you're that person who's being positive, and you're being a person of reason and engaging in the conversation in a meaningful way, and not being this just downer the whole time, that lifts up the entire table there. And there's a story, I'm sure you're familiar with this, about the coffee bean in the boiling water. It's a children's book.
Yes.
Yeah, and I read that, I think it was like 4 weekends ago, believe it or not. And I was sitting in a bookstore, and I'm like, this looks interesting. So I'm like flipping through it, and I read through it, and I've been thinking about that coffee bean for ever since I read the book. I've posted about it and everything, and I'm like, because I'm a visual person, and just as much as like your magazine spoke to me because of how visually popping it was, I'm like, I have to look at it. It's the same with cartoons and those types of messages through cartoons, and imagery was like, I connect with that more so than reading textbook and words.
That's right.
And I think a lot of folks do.
Exactly. Everyone has their own way of relating to a piece. So it's funny, but for me, as soon as I heard about NFTs and I understood what it was, I knew what I can bring forward. I love graphic design. I love writing. So marrying both of those together to help children's art and their stories and their message that they're trying to translate through their creations, it was the simplest thing. It's just the way it all connected. It was just, it was effortless.
Where does the storytelling come from you? Have you always been a storyteller, or is it like through family you've learned how to storytell? Because to have longevity,
for my mom and for my gran, actually, from very, very young, they've told us so many folk tales, like Malagasy, folklores and folk tales like out of this world, you know. So absorbing all of that, I think that's where it came from. And in school, always been given opportunities to write stories from very, very young, even from France. And being and working for the magazine when I was a teenager and being told already there that, oh, you have a knack for this, you know, keep pushing, keep going. It was, at the time, they really take it on. It was just messages here and there, different people, different voices coming at me. But it's only, I would say, the past 2 years, I took it seriously. And before I took my 5-year break, I tried a few things. But over a period of time, I would say definitely it was from my mom and hearing her crazy Malagasy stories from very, very young.
What's a Malagasy story? What is that? Is it a region or like?
Oh, so Malagasy is the name of the people that come from Madagascar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we called Malagasys.
That's actually a really neat nickname.
Thank you. We're from the north. My mom is from Antsiranana, or a small place called Diego Suarez. And Madagascar is full of magic. You know, it's one of my favorite places in the world. And it's opened my mind to so many different possibilities. Even actually the first chapter book that I'll be releasing this month is called YaYa and the baggage, YaYa, the baggage handler. It's a series, and the third book will be based in Madagascar. So I want to bring all of that together. The first place that YaYa travels to is Seoul. Second will be London. Third will be Madagascar, and so on and so forth. That's just something else I'll be telling you.
So YaYa sounds a lot like where your travel has been.
Yes, she's part of me. She's really. I don't know if I could. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, go ahead. Share your screen.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen. I'm so passionate about.
Oh, I love the enthusiasm. You can hear it in your voice and in your tone, just talking. And whenever you were talking about the kids too, or your experience in the teen magazine, and said somebody told you that you have a knack for it, I think that's so important for people to hear. Is just
very young.
From very young, and just to give somebody a pat on the back and a boost up is so impactful to adults, but especially kids. For
sure. I must say that, so moving from France to London, it changed my life completely. Before then, I think I lived in a bubble because French mentality is completely different. They're very reserved, whereas British people, they're out there, they're very confident, they're all about ideas. And, you know, if you come forward, you're competent, you're trying to do something different in you, so many people can come around you and support you and push you forward. And that really did it for me too. All right, Here we go. I've got YaYa right here. I will share my screen with you. Okay, wow. Yes.
Oh.
Meet YaYa, the mouse.
What's up, YaYa?
Oh, meet YaYa. So her dream, she had always dreamt of becoming an air hostess, right? This little mouse, very bold, very confident, wild dreams, always wanted to be an air hostess. She would go to different job interviews with different airlines, but of course she would always get shut down. She would always get rejected because of her size, you know, but she never gave up. She always tried. Up until a time she really felt defeated because it was like her 8th job rejection. And her mice community live under an airport. And somehow, cutting the story short, she lands in the lost luggage unit of the airport. She didn't know that existed. And she meets all these talking luggages that have been there lost for many, many years. And she's confused. She's thinking, you guys should be traveling to your destination. What are you doing here? You should be with your families. You know, and they're brushing her off like, oh, it's okay. We've been here like this. We've got our own lost unit community. We're happy as we are. And she's like, no, this is injustice. You ought to be reunited with your families. And Jordan, this becomes her new mission.
Yeah.
Since she cannot be an air hostess, she becomes a baggage handler and she travels the world to reunite lost luggages with their families. So that's YaYa's story.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can
So
visually see that little YaYa running around underneath. Oh, this is so good.
thank you. Thank you. So I will definitely give you the scoop properly when
Please
I'll be
do.
launching that. I'll be dropping it because one thing you need to know, Jordan, I am the first children's author with minted story. I'm the first children's NFT author. Is
Okay.
that something else? Yeah, with this metaverse, I'm trying everything. And
Well,
with the
I,
magazine, with my stories, so I'm trying to, I'm putting flags everywhere.
isn't it nice to be first in a land where, like, in a
It's
world
so
where
difficult. Everything's been invented. I'm not a scientist.
everything's been
I'm
invented
not
and explored except where? The metaverse.
metaverse.
Boom. Plant the
This is
flag.
where you can reinvent yourself. You can be super duper creative and try and invent a new first title just for the fun of it
Yep.
and see what happens. So for me, as soon as I understood from Leo Gami what I could do within the metaverse, I haven't slept. It's been how many months? I haven't slept.
I know.
That's why now doing this interview, I'm full of energy because all the messages from the parents, from the kids, I'm receiving voice notes from kids saying thank you, and all of that just motivates me every day. So with my stories now, yes, I'll be dropping my first chapter book. So I already released a short story as an NFT, and I'll be dropping YaYa this month. Yeah.
That
So
is so.
and
I don't.
I've got a very special way that I will drop her as well. I will drop that story, a very cool special way.
I'm
Yeah,
excited
I'm
about
gonna
that.
do things in a unusual. Yeah, I want to change the self-publishing scene because early this year, before I learned about NFTs, and I was just trying to wrap my head around self-publishing, I felt so defeated because the mountains that you have to, the steps, the hills, it's so steep. It's really the hard work that you have to, the work and the effort you've got to push behind you just to try to
Mm.
be known as a self-published author is extremely difficult because there's so many of us out there. But with the metaverse now, it's brand new and not many publishing companies have jumped on it yet. And I know they will gradually. So I thought, oh, let me squeeze in there quickly. Let me do a little something. So if I want to go down the traditional route, I can add that to my accolades, to my resume, that I'm one of the first NFT children authors. And this is what I've been able to do. YaYa is my first creation on the metaverse.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is absolutely fantastic. So I don't know how much you know about the project that we're working on, and this is a big reason why I was like, I need to talk to you because our project is called NF Daddies,
Yeah, I saw
and
that. I love that.
it's all about being a dad and being like sort of the uh like neighborhood patrol, if you will. So we're out there educating on safety tips, on just the basics of the blockchain and the basics of NFTs. And we've obviously like have visions of expansion. So with NF mommies and toddlers and kids and things like that. So I definitely want to, you and I need to stay close to one another
Oh, for
because
sure.
I
Because
love the synergies there.
fantastic, 100%. I had a conversation this week about metaverse safety, online safety, and finding ways to onboard parents because it's very complicated.
Yeah.
Jumping in the metaverse is fun, but I mean the sharing side is very fun, but the whole process of minting and all that kind of stuff, it's new for everyone. So there's so many things that still doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to actually, even for the next issue, if we could find a way to have you guys on board and share your knowledge to our readers.
Yeah, if we could do that, I would really welcome that. We have I'll also shoot you over a Discord invite, but we have a preliminary onto what we're doing already. So yeah, I definitely want to get involved.
I'm there. I want to hear more for
Yeah,
sure.
we just got legal yesterday. We did a trademark on our logo, so we're
Oh,
we're moving down that
fantastic.
road. Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, it's an
Fabulous.
exciting time over there at the NF Daddy site. But this isn't about NF Daddies. This is about NFT kids.
But actually, so are you children creating?
Yes. Yeah. So my
Come
daughter's.
send her our way.
I
We
will.
want to see what she's creating. We want to see her magic.
Well,
We
that's what I'm curious about. So she's a big time gamer. She is a pianist. She's also into Taekwondo. She's a
wow.
world champion Taekwondo sparrer. So she's like way cooler, snowboarder, skateboarder. She's crazy.
Oh,
She
awesome.
she sounds a perfect fit for you, and I would love to connect
How
those
old is she?
dots. She's 12.
Oh, wonderful. Like my son. Fantastic. Please. Yeah. We could have her do so many, like there's so many ways that she could contribute for us. You know, she's a
Perfect.
great too. Yeah. From her arts to other things.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. We would love to meet her, get to know her. Do you document all that she does, all the snowboarding and
Oh yeah, I have
does she have her
everything.
own YouTube channel? Does she have her own universe?
So we've created the YouTube channel. She's just not really, I don't know if she's not into it or if she's just too busy doing the things,
Okay.
to actually manage that. But I've asked her, I said, hey, do you want to create the channel? And she said, yeah, let's create it. But then it sort of falls off because she just wants to play.
They do things in their own time. Even
Right.
with my son, yeah, Jamaiden.
The waiting club.
Yeah, exactly. The kids, they have it. Listen, they know what they're doing for most part. Yes, they need our push and stuff, but there's only so much. So my son, he did his first drop back in June. And then he did another one last month when we released the magazine. And so I'm giving him time to, now he's working on his next collection. So I'm not trying to force him and rush him. They will do things in their own time. The metaverse has been built for them. I feel like they created the metaverse in some way because it fits like a perfect glove for them also. They just know what to do. It's natural, so they just need our encouragement and our positive vibes, and the rest will come when it needs to come. So,
absolutely. And the whole entire space will become stronger because of that support system and the kids, and we're sort of a generation, they're the next generation. And if they can be supported the whole way through that with some guidance and all of that, like it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. And so where can they find the NFT Kids magazine? Where like if we want to learn more, where do we go?
All right. So on Instagram, you can find us, and also on Twitter, NFT Kids Mag. And when you click on our bio, it's the first tab in our link tree. That's the first tab. So Instagram, link in bio, first tab. Very easy. That's where you can find the first issue.
Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. I'm already clicked on it. So as soon as I hang up here, that's where I'm headed. So, fabulous. And then also you are the very first children's NFT author. I'm changing the intro to this. What?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? So that is your new intro, and wear that with a badge of honor. Congratulations. Well deserved. Can't wait to see where this goes. Let's keep in contact because I think that we just formed a thing here. So
nice energy, like you said.
Let's run it.
100%.
All right, guys, as always, check them out and enjoy the journey. Take care. Bye now.
All right. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much for sticking here until the very, very end. If you wouldn't mind just leaving a comment or subscribing or liking the podcast or wherever you downloaded this, maybe it was from YouTube, I would love for that. You take an extra couple seconds to give us some more love, even though you have listened here to the very, very end. We appreciate that so much. Could you also go over to thestarspodcast.com if you found any of this really interesting and you wanted to dive in a little bit further, or go to our Discord, which is Rocinante Studios NFT. Enjoy the journey.